All right, fellas, what is happening? This is part 2 of the NFL wide receivers ranked of this past year. I'm mainly basing this off of fantasy performance and how they did. Maybe not just based off like stats and stuff like that, but purely based off fantasy. If you guys like this sort of video, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. We did pretty good on the last video. Make sure we comment on this video, though. I need some more comments turning in a burn. I need to know how I'm doing. But yeah, let's get right into this video. Appreciate you guys watching. Let's go. All right, starting off here, we have the Raiders wide receiving core. We have Davante Adams, we have Jacoby Myers, and Hunter Renfrow. Obviously, Tay was supposed to be the best wide receiver of the year, and he obviously was for that team, but he drew a lot of doubles, and that really opened some opportunities for Jacoby Myers to shine. But obviously, Tay is the WR1 here, so we're gonna judge all these guys based off WR1s, not really their backups. Davante Adams is tough because he had a not too great of a quarterback throwing to him, Aiden O'Connell. So I'm gonna put him in the average category. I feel like for Davante Adams, the bar is so high for him to perform that, you know, it's hard for him to be in the elite good category if he has a shitty quarterback. But also too, I mean, you have to realize that a lot of these wide receivers shine even without a good quarterback. So it kind of matters the quarterback play, but at the same time, these guys got to shine. And Davante Adams didn't really impress this year, so I'm going to put him in the average spot. Based on, I mean, he had a couple. Let's be honest, he had a couple good games, okay, but other than that, he really just kind of shit the bed this year. So we're going to put him in the average spot. Moving on here, we got Keenan Allen. I'm going to put Keenan Allen in the good category. Justin Herbert was so-so this year. The Chargers were also so-so, and I feel like that kind of resulted in Keenan Allen having a so-so year as well. The biggest struggle with Keenan Allen is just health-wise. The dude gets hurt like 3 or 4 games every year, if not more. So if you draft him, you have to learn to be patient and realize that he's probably going to get hurt, but when he's healthy, he's really good. He's obviously a WR1 on the Chargers. Keenan Allen, I'm going to put him in the good category. When he's healthy, he's really good. So dare I say elite, but I think he's in the good category for this year. Moving on here, we got CeeDee Lamb. I'm going to put CeeDee Lamb in the elite category. I feel like that's a good spot for him just because he really turned on the back half of the year. He could have won some fantasy leagues for some people, and if you have him, you know what I'm talking about. But he kind of struggled in the beginning of the year just a tad. But based off where he was drafted, he really performed well. I mean, I think Keenan Allen was even going before CeeDee Lamb, and even like who else was going before? Davante Adams was going before CeeDee Lamb, I feel like. Jamar Chase went before CeeDee Lamb. Diggs went before CeeDee Lamb. So CeeDee Lamb was high draft. Like he was in the first round, but I feel like he was kind of later to mid-second round. Not mid-second round, but first of the second round. But yeah, CeeDee Lamb had a really good year for where he was drafted. That's why I'm going to put him in the elite category. But he's second next to Tyreek. Tyreek is obviously first. All right, moving on here, we have the Giants wide receiving core, and we're going to put fucking Darius Slayton and go work in fast food. The dude had 770 yards on the year with like 4 touchdowns or something like that. Just the Giants in general were really bad. Daniel Jones was really bad. Saquon Barkley was hurt for a little bit. It's just that team was really bad this year. And I mean, look at these choices I have, man. Like, who's this? Isaiah Hodgins and fucking, what's that guy's name? Oh, shit, I gotta look this guy up. Hold on. And Paris Campbell. Like, who the hell are these two people? Right? Like, I mean, the only guy I know is Darius Slayton, and he had a really bad year. Go join fucking what's his face, Jerry Jeudy on the fast food line, bud. You weren't too good this year. All right, moving on here, we have AJ Brown. AJ Brown, oh, it's so tempting to put him in the elite category, right? Oh, he had really good games this year. He's either in the back of the pack of elite or he's in first and good. I feel like that's not. Oh man, I'm gonna get roasted in the comments by Eagles fans. Guys, what do I do? I really don't know. All right, I'm gonna have to decide. I'm gonna put him in the elite category. Back of the pack though, he had some really good games, and I know our league winner this year for my personal league had AJ Brown on their team, so he obviously propelled him to win the league. So that's why I ultimately went with AJ Brown in the elite category. That dude turned up this year. He was catching crazy passes. He had a couple games where he had duds, but overall, he was a really solid fantasy pick. And if you had him, you probably you definitely made the playoffs. Did you win? Maybe not. Maybe. But the guy in our league won it with A.J. Brown, so that's why I'm going to put him in the elite category. Scary Terry. Scary Terry had an interesting year. He didn't really play that well. Like other guys like Jahan Dotson and Curtis Samuel were, I mean, I don't want to say they were better because they weren't, but he kind of just had a so-so year for a guy who was supposed to be good. I'm going to put him in the top of the poor category. I just feel like he really didn't have that great a year. Let me look up his stats real quick. Hold on, guys. All right, so yeah, he had 1,000 receiving yards, which is pretty good for a wide receiver. Anytime they make that mark, they're pretty good. Maybe I'll put him in the back of the average category. What's really dragging me down is he only had 4 touchdowns. And someone like Terry McLaurin needs to catch more touchdowns, right? It's just hard for me. I'm going to keep him in the poor category. I kind of have high standards. I'm not going to lie. I need to put him in the first here, but yeah, Scary Terry, you're going in the first of the poor category. DJ Moore of the Chicago Bears. This guy had a good year, man. He had a really solid year. I'm going to put him in the top of the average category. He had one game, like the first 3 games of the year, he was really struggling, but he had one game. And of course, I had drafted him on my team. And of course, he pops off the day after I trade him. I was so pissed. It was like that 50-point, 60-point performance. Who was it against? I can't remember. But it was like Thursday Night Football or something like that, and I was pissed I traded him. But yeah, DJ Moore, it seems like from that point forward, like week 3, week 4, or whatever it was, he had a really solid year. So we're going to put him in the top of the average category. All right, and moving on here, we have the Giants wide receiving core. Amon-Ra St. Brown. This dude was elite this year. He had multiple 100-yard plus games. I'm going to put him over A.J. Brown, actually. I have a lot of respect for Amon-Ra. He caught up a bunch of touchdowns. He had like multiple 100-yard plus games, like I just said. And yeah, it helps Jared Goff was good this year, but Jared Goff wasn't elite. He wasn't amazing. He did what he could. He's kind of like Brock Purdy in a way, like a system QB, but maybe a little bit better. But Amon-Ra really impressed this year, and he really came on just kind of out of nowhere. I mean, not really out of nowhere. He was good last year too, but that dude, I had him in one of my leagues, and he really saved me a bunch of weeks. Like, he was the reason why I made the playoffs in one of my leagues. So, Amon-Ra, I love you, man. All right, the Packers are an interesting one because Christian Watson was hurt for a lot of the year, so he was supposed to be the WR1. I'm actually going to do 2 of these guys. I feel like you could do all 3 because all 3 kind of were the WR1 on the team. But going into the year, Christian Watson was supposed to be the WR1. He was hurt for a bunch. I'm going to put him in the garbage category just because he really didn't play at all, so we didn't really get to see his full potential. But when we did, man, he was actually really good. It's a shame he got hurt so much. So, I mean, if you drafted him, you kind of wasted a pick on him because he didn't play at all. But, I mean, who is this? Is this Romeo Doubs? I think this is Romeo Doubs. He had a really good year, too, for where he was drafted. I'm going to put him in the back of the average. Oh, no, that's disrespectful. I can't do that. I'm going to put him in the poor category. He had a couple of really good games. He caught a touchdown a couple times, but we're going to put him in the poor category. And we're going to put also Jaden Reed in the poor category. Just because, like, the Packers wide receivers, man, they switch turns being good. It was so weird. Like, Jaden Reed would be good one week, then Romeo Doubs would be good the next, then Christian Watson would break through, and then everyone else would just be terrible. I don't know. It was really weird. Then you had Luke Musgrove, whatever his name is, have a good week. It was that wide receiver dynamic was really weird on that team. So I'm not really sure what to do with them. So that's why we're going to put them in the poor/garbage category. Moving on here, this is really no dispute here. Justin Jefferson was supposed to be the WR1 this year. He did spend a lot of the year hurt, but when he did play, he was good. He wasn't elite. He was good. I'm going to put him in the I feel like it's disrespectful to have Keelan Allen all the way back here. I'm going to put him here. We're going to put Justin Jefferson there, and we're going to switch Amari Cooper with Nico Collins. I feel like that's pretty good. It's just Justin Jefferson, man. He was hurt. It's hard. It's kind of like him and Keenan Allen. Like, when they're on and healthy, they're really good, and when they're not, like, these are one of these two guys here. It doesn't really matter who the quarterback is; they're always going to produce, and I think that's what makes an elite wide receiver. That's why I feel like, I mean, granted, these 4 guys up here had really good quarterbacks thrown to him, but I feel like Justin Jefferson had Nick Mullins thrown to him, and he was still pretty good, and he produced. So that's why we're going to put Justin Jefferson in the good category. Drake London had an abysmal year. He had a couple decent games. I mean, a handful sprinkled in there, but we're going to put him in the garbage category. I mean, look who he had thrown to him, man. Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke. I just feel like Drake London just did not have a good year just because of who was thrown to him. I feel like Arthur Smith wasted so much good potential on that team, and it was sad to see. I'm kind of glad he's out. But, yeah, we'll see how I think Raheem Morris is the coach now. So we'll see how they do, and we'll see how he utilizes his stars. So it'll be interesting to see how Drake London fares next year. All right, and moving on here, it could be questionable who the WR1 was for the Panthers. I'm just going to put Adam Thielen just because he had that stretch where he was amazing for fantasy players. I'm going to put him in the top of the poor category. Adam Thielen had a big stretch where he was just producing, and then that dude just fell off a cliff. And I feel like that's why he's going to go in the poor category. Like, if you're going to keep producing, you got to produce for me to put you in the average to good category. But let's be honest, like Adam Thielen compared to DJ Moore, compared to Zay Flowers, compared to I forget who I was going to put there, but like Devontae Adams, they're not. He's just not on that level, and that's why I'm going to put him in the poor category. I feel like he's more on this level with like some of these guys here, so we're going to put him there. Moving on, we have Chris Olave. Chris Olave had a decent year, man. He had a good year. We're going to put him above Amari Cooper. When Chris Olave was healthy, I feel like he was battling a lot of injuries this year, and the Saints just cannot figure out their quarterback situation. Like Derek Carr was either really good or really bad. Jameis Winston filled in a couple times, but Chris Olave, he's the clear WR1 on that team. Michael Thomas had some good catches, some good plays, and Rashid Shaheed, I feel like I fucking butchered that, but he also had some good plays. But Chris Olave is the clear WR1. He had a good year, and look for him to be elite next year, man. I think he's a sleeper. I think a lot of people are sleeping on him. And that's kind of how they slept on him this year. So be on the lookout for Chris Olave. I feel like he could be good. Mike Evans, the clear WR1 on Tampa Bay. Mike Evans, he's close. He's another guy that's like elite to good. I'm going to put him in the top of good. He had some really good games this year. Baker Mayfield really turned it on at the end there, and that's when you saw Mike Evans shine. But he did have a few key drops that I noticed week to week, so that's why he's going to go in the good category. But, I mean, Mike Evans, he produces year in, year out, so it's really hard to put him anything lower than good. To be elite, you got to be elite. I think it's pretty agreed upon. He's not Tyreek level. He's not CD level. He's not Amon-Ra level this year. So we're going to put him in the good category. Hollywood Brown. It's hard to judge him, man, because Kyler Murray never really hit his stride this year. And they had that fucking rookie start for like the first 3 weeks or whatever. I don't even know. But we're going to put him in the poor category. He just did not have a good year, man. Actually, I'm tempted to put him in the garbage. I'm going to put him in the garbage category. If you had him on fantasy, you had a couple of decent weeks out of him, but, I mean, really just not good. Let me look up his stats real quick. Hold on. Okay, yeah, he only had 574 yards this year, which is terrible, and he had 4 touchdowns. So where'd he go? I'm going to put him in the back of garbage. This guy was terrible. I didn't realize he only had 574 yards, but... moving on here, who else we got? I got to scroll down to see where am I at? Let's see. Okay, we're on the Rams. This is the last one of the video. We'll disregard. Okay, we are on the Rams. We have Cooper Kupp here. Puka Nacua is not listed just because he wasn't the WR1 starting coming into the year. But Cooper Kupp, he had a decent year. He was hurt for the first 3 or 4 weeks. But, I mean... I don't know. It wasn't the Cooper Kupp we're used to seeing. I wonder if that's because of Puka Nacua's emergence. So we're going to put him in the back of the average category. I just feel like Cooper Kupp, with him, you have to have higher standards because of where he was drafted. And I know a lot of people drafted him high, and when the news came out he was going to be hurt, and then he fell back a little bit. But, yeah, we're going to put Cooper Kupp in the back of the average category. And last but not least, we have the Super Bowl possibly champs, 49ers. I'm going to do both wide receivers here, Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, because I feel like both are almost interchangeably WR1s. So where'd they go here? Here we go. Deebo Samuel, it's hard to place where he's at. I'm going to put him in the top of the good category. That dude's just so explosive and such a good threat, with jet sweeps, just regular handoffs, or just trick plays, or just running regular routes. That he's so hard to tackle in the open field, and that's why I think that's what makes Deebo Samuel really good. Now, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel really helps Brandon Ayuk because he frees up the deep ball for Brandon. But we're going to put him in also the good category. Brandon Ayuk had a pretty decent year as well. I mean, I feel like both of these guys had over 1,000 yards for sure, multiple touchdowns on the year. They produced. Brock Purdy is slinging the ball to them. And look for each of these guys to probably catch a touchdown / run a touchdown maybe in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, that was the video. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you disagree with or agree with in the comments. I love the feedback. I love reading the comments. I love people getting fired up, and I love football, baby. If you love football too, make sure you stay tuned. We have more of these videos coming out. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.